Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum class. Let's start the first part of lecture 2. Before starting the lecture, we will have the review of the previous lecture. In previous lecture, we have studied definition and types of statistics. What is statistics? Statistics is the discipline which gives us different procedures and techniques to collect, calculate, analyze and interpret the dataset. There are two different basic types of statistics, descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics describe dataset and inferential statistics makes forecast of the dataset. Types of datasets. We have different types of datasets. Grouped, ungrouped data. And the third one we have studied is the presentation of the dataset. There are three approaches to represent dataset, that are textual method, tabular method and the graphical method. In tabular method we have studied there are two methods that can be used. First one was arrangement from lowest to highest. Lowest to highest, and the second one was stem and leaf plot. Okay. Stem and leaf plot. In this lecture, we will study the second approach, that was tabular method. In tabular method, the first method we have is the frequency distribution table. Before starting frequency distribution table, we will study what is the frequency. Frequency is the number of times an observation occurs in an experiment. And what is frequency distribution table? Frequency distribution table is a table which shows the data arranged into different classes or categories and the number of cases which fall into each class. Here we have quiz scores of 50 students in some subject. Scores are classified here. And what is this? This is the frequency. And what is frequency? Frequency is the number of times an observations occur in an experiment. So what it gives to us, what it says to us, when there is one corresponding a class 0 to 2, it means there is one student whose marks lies between 0 to 2. Similarly, when we go to the next class 3 to 5, then the frequency is 2. What does that mean? It means there are 2 students in the class of 50 who have marks from 3 to 5. Similarly, when we go to a class 9 to 11, there is a frequency of 15. What does it mean? There are 15 students in the class whose marks lies between 9 and 11. What is frequency distribution table? A table that shows data arranged into different classes. In this table, we have a data divided into different classes, arranged into different classes, and the number of cases which fall into each class. Also, we have number of students which lie in these classes. So, this is a frequency distribution table. Now, we will understand these classes. This is a one way to represent the data. We set this classes, and this one is a lower class limit, and this one is a upper class limit of the class. Similarly, if we go to class 6 to 8, what is 6? 6 is a lower class limit of this class, and 8 is the upper class limit of this class. When we have data set defined or arranged in classes, then the lower and upper class limit both are included. That is, zero and 2 both are included in this class. 3 and 5 both are included in this class. The second way to represent the data, represent the variable, is class mark, or we say midpoints. As it is very well observed from the name, midpoints. This is a score which lies in the middle of the two limits. हमने देखा कि जब हमारे पास डेटा सेट क्लासेस में है तो हमारे पास लोअर क्लास लिमिट है, अपर क्लास लिमिट है. मिड पॉइंट क्या है? मिड पॉइंट लाइज बिटवीन लोअर क्लास लिमिट एंड द अपर क्लास लिमिट. एंड हाउ वी विल फाइंड द क्लास मार्क? Class mark or the midpoint, we represent it with variable. You can give name of any variable, x, y, z, whatever it suits you. This is equal to lower class limit plus upper class limit divided by 2. What is class mark or the midpoint? Class mark or the midpoint is equal to lower class limit of the class plus upper class limit of the class divided by 2. Now, in the first class, we have, for the first class, we have 0 plus 2 divided by 2, that is equal to 1. For third class, we have 6, the lower class limit, plus 8, the upper class limit, divided by 2, which is equal to 14 divided by 2, which is equal to 7. Okay. So what we have, these are the midpoints or class mark. Now let's move to the class boundaries. What are the class boundaries? In classes, we see there is a gap between the upper class limit of the preceding class and the lower class limit of the exceeding class. If we have two consecutive classes, then there is a gap between the upper limit of the previous class and the lower limit of the next class. So, in class boundaries, what we do? We actually remove this gap. हम यहाँ पे 2 और 3 के दरमियान जो गैप है इसको रिमूव करेंगे. ठीक? And how we will do that? Class boundaries, capital C, capital B से हम इसको रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे. And how we will find that? First, we will find the difference between these two numbers. Okay, we will take any two consecutive classes. आप कोई सी दो consecutive classes ले लें. मैंने first और second ली. अब जो previous class है, preceding class है, उसकी upper class limit और जो exceeding class है, next class है, इसकी लोअर क्लास लिमिट ले. ठीक है. इन दोनों का हम डिफरेंस कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे. क्या डिफरेंस आ जाएगा हमारे पास? डिफरेंस विल बी 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Next, what will we do? We will divide this difference in two parts. And when we will divide it by 2, we will have 0.5. Now, how we will make the class boundaries? First, we will subtract this number from the lower class limit of the class and will add this number to the upper class limit of the class. For example, if we want to create class boundaries for the third class, what we will do? We will subtract 0.5 from 6. That is equal to 5.5. And we will add 0.5 into the upper limit. So, we will have 8.5. Okay. Now, if I make a class boundary table for the given example, I will have a column like this. Class boundaries. We have calculated the number, that was 0.5. We will subtract it from the lower limit. What will be the answer? Minus 0.5. And when we will add this to this upper limit, it will be 2.5. 5. Subtracted from 3, we will get 2.5 minus 5.5. For the third class, we have 5.5 to 8.5. 9, we have to subtract it from the lower limit. So when we will subtract 0.5 from 9, we will have 8.5 minus 8.5 to 11.5. Similarly, we will have 11.5 to 14.5. Okay, this is the column of class boundaries. जैसे हमारे पास क्लासेस में हमने देखा कि किसी भी क्लास की पर्टिकुलर क्लास की जो लोअर लिमिट है उसको हम लोअर क्लास लिमिट कहते हैं, अपर को अपर क्लास लिमिट कहते हैं। इसी तरह किसी भी पर्टिकुलर क्लास की लोअर लिमिट को हम जब हमारे पास क्लास बाउंड्रीज हैं तो जो लोअर है उसको हम लोअर क्लास बाउंड्री कहेंगे और अपर जो हमारे पास आता है उसको हम अपर क्लास बाउंड्री कहेंगे। Okay. Now the next one is the class height or class width. Class height is represented by small h. And how we will calculate it? If we are given data set in the form of classes, then the difference between two consecutive lower limits or two consecutive upper limits, the difference is the class height. If we are given with class marks, then the difference between two consecutive class marks is the class height. Similarly, if we are given with class boundaries, then the difference between two consecutive lower boundaries or the upper boundaries, the difference is the class mark, or we will say class boundaries. First, we will see if we are given with classes. Let's suppose we consider these two classes 6 to 8 and 9 to 11. If you notice, I used word consecutive in each way. अगर आपके पास क्लासेस हैं तो दो कंसेक्टिव हम क्लासेस लेंगे। मैं यहाँ पे 6 to 8 और 9 to 11 वाली क्लास लेंगे। These two are consecutive classes. You can take any two consecutive classes. Now, the difference between the two consecutive lowers का difference ले लें और या difference between the two consecutive uppers, दो जो upper limits हैं consecutive उनका difference ले लें। दोनों केसेस में जो भी आपके पास रिजल्ट आ रहा है that is the class height. If we take difference of two consecutive lowers, that is 9 minus 6, this is 3. And if I take difference of two consecutive uppers, then 11 minus 8, that is also is equal to 3. This is the case when we are given with classes. We will take consecutive classes. Okay, you can see if we take any other two classes, let's suppose last two classes, 12 minus 9, 3, 14 minus 11, 3. This is, what is this? This is class height or class width. If we are given with the class marks, then the difference between the two consecutive classes, two consecutive class marks अगर हम लेंगे, difference between 10 and 7, 3, 7 and 4, 3. तो class height हमारे पास क्या है? 3. अगर हम क्लास मार्क लेते हैं 10 लास्ट थर्ड और फोर्थ क्लास लेते हैं तो इनका डिफरेंस क्या आ जाएगा? 10 माइनस 3 सॉरी 10 माइनस 7 3. अगर आपके पास क्लास बाउंड्रीज गिवन है, फॉर एग्जांपल हम पहले यहाँ पे क्लास मार्क्स के लिए भी कर लेते हैं. अगर आपके पास क्लास मार्क्स हैं 7, 10, क्लास हाइट हमारे पास क्या है? Difference between two consecutive class marks, 10 minus 7, that is equal to 3. And when we have class boundaries, we will take again two consecutive classes. हम कोई सी दो consecutive classes ले लेते हैं. Let's suppose हम यहाँ पे second and third class ले लेते हैं. तो ये हमारे पास क्या आएगा? सेकेंड और थर्ड क्लास के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग हमारे पास क्लास बाउंड्रीज क्या है? 2.5 to 5.5 and 5.5 to 8.5. तो क्लासेस है हमारे पास, क्लास बाउंड्रीज है. हाउ वी विल कैलकुलेट क्लास हाइट और क्लास विड्थ? Difference between two consecutive lower class boundaries or the difference between two consecutive upper class boundaries. हम जब लोअर क्लास बाउंड्रीज का डिफरेंस लेते हैं तो ये क्या आ जाएगा? 5.5 minus 2.5. This is equal to 3. If we use upper class boundaries, then what are the upper boundaries? 8.5 minus 5.5. What will be the answer? 3. So whether you use lower boundaries or upper boundaries, you will get the same class height. Okay. Now we will learn the points to remember. Which points we need to remember when we convert ungrouped data into group data using the tabular method, tabular approach. The first point, be sure that classes are mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means overlapping ना हो, disjoint हो. आपके पास उनमें कुछ भी ऑब्जर्वेशंस रिपीट ना हो रही हो, ठीक है, नॉन ओवरलैपिंग हो, या इसको हम बोलते हैं डिसजॉइंट, म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव को, ठीक है। The second one is include all classes even if the frequency is 0. आपके पास जितनी भी क्लासेस हैं वो सब इंक्लूड होंगी। Even if the frequency is 0 means कि अगर उस रेंज में आपके पास कोई भी ऑब्जर्वेशन लाई नहीं करे तो भी आप उस क्लास को कंसीडर करेंगे, ठीक है। Try to use the same width for all classes. We use same class width or same class height for construction of each class. Select convenient number of class limits. Use between 5 to 20 classes. There is no some hard and fast rule on the number of classes you should have. Usually we have minimum 5 classes and maximum you can have 20 classes. We never build classes more than 20. Usually we can choose number of classes according to the number of data points in our data. The sum of class frequencies must equal to the number of original data values. If you remember, we have studied what is frequency. Frequency is the number of time an observation occur in the data. आपके पास एक ऑब्जर्वेशन डेटा सेट में कितनी बार अकर कर रही है, दिस इज द फ्रीक्वेंसी. सो सम ऑफ ऑल फ्रीक्वेंसीज मस्ट बी इक्वल टू द नंबर ऑफ ओरिजिनल डाटा वैल्यूज. अगर हम जो फ्रीक्वेंसी का कॉलम है उसका सम करेंगे तो सम जो है वो किसके इक्वल आना चाहिए. हमारे पास जो फ्रीक्वेंसी का कॉलम है, इस पूरे कॉलम का जो हम सम करेंगे दैट मस्ट बी इक्वल टू द टोटल नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस इन द डाटा सेट. आपके डाटा सेट में टोटल जितनी ऑब्जर्वेशंस हैं वो ही होना चाहिए ये सम. इट मीन्स you should include each and every observation. Okay. This is all for part 1. Thank you.